Hello, hello, hello. Long time no see. Just thought I would just wait for Enzo to get comfy. I have not been on probably for about a week. And obviously when you start these things, you need to be quite regular with your uploads, as it were. I did do a short last week with this one. You can lie down. I just talk, please. Not about Enzo today. Although I do find that when Enzo's in my videos or my little shorts, I do get a lot of views. He's the big pull. I appreciate that and understand that. So yeah, I've been sitting thinking, I've been sort of pontificating. That's a really good word. All week really, what to chat about, because I'm not really doing hauls and things as yet. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of hauls on here, so which are good because I love them. I absolutely love them. But I thought really what initially, just to get a little bit to know about me and my lovely little family, and so yeah. So today I just thought I would chat to you. I'm hunching, I hate that. I would chat to you about my time when I worked in Pandora. Now I know a lot of you probably love Pandora, and I also know there's a lot of Pandora haters, but I feel like when I worked there, I feel like it was kind of at its peak. I feel like I've not been in a Pandora shop for I don't even know how long now, but I think when I worked there it was very much at its height of popularity, and I have to admit, sorry, I've got Enzo's hairs all over me. I absolutely loved that job. Like, it was just my dream. It was my dream to work there. If any of you ever worked or have worked or are working in a jeweller's, then you know what an amazing, lovely, lovely job it is, because you get people coming in and you get people coming in and they're obviously doing a lovely thing. You know, they're not buying their weekly shopping, they're not paying their bills, they're picking out a piece of jewellery. Don't nudge the table, please, Enzo. They're picking out a piece of jewellery for themselves, or they're buying a gift for a loved one. So it's just a really lovely, lovely job. And I can't tell you how much I loved it. Every day was different. Even though you were doing the same thing, every day was different. And you met so many different people, and from all walks of life. And obviously the nature of being a sales consultant in a Pandora shop was getting to know their story, but not in a hard sell type of way. Obviously, if they're coming in for a charm or a bracelet or whatever piece of jewellery, Enzo, please stop doing that. No. Then you need to know a bit about them. And to be honest with you, we never really had to press them too much. A lot of people, when they came in, they would love to tell you their story. And it was just lovely. You know, there was some sad stories, some really sad stories, because you know, people wanted a charm on their bracelet to remember somebody if they'd lost them, or, you know, equally on the other side, you get people who are buying charms to celebrate the birth of a baby or an engagement or a wedding or just friendship. Just, I feel like whoever came up with this idea, and obviously I do know a lot about it because I did a lot of training. I was probably at Pandora for about, I think maybe 6, sorry, if you can hear that noise, it's Enzo and he's licking the quilt cover and he knows he's not to do that. Behave. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, did a lot of training. So I obviously know a lot about the history of Pandora and how it came about. So yeah, really, really good idea. I mean, my bracelet, I've actually got my bracelet here, so I don't wear it anymore. So this is my Pandora bracelet. And my lovely mum, who is no longer here, My mum started me on this bracelet. She actually saw it. It was a little shop that opened where I used to live. And I think they were probably one of the first shops to stock Pandora back in the day. And so she started me off with my bracelet and one charm. And I think gradually over the space of, I don't even know, I can't even remember the timeline of when my mum was no longer here until the time that I started at Pandora. But I always remember actually getting the job at Pandora and being absolutely just beside myself that I got a job there, and that person I wanted to tell most in the world was my mum, because I knew she would just love the idea of me working there. And she did start me off with a lot of the charms, but obviously while I was there I continued until my bracelet was full. I actually feel like now if I put this on, I think it will probably be a little bit tight on me, but I will never ever part with this bracelet because I just adore it. So yeah, that was my very first Pandora bracelet. I have had other ones since. I bought a lot of stuff while I was there, to be fair. I mean, obviously you do get a discount, and they did used to, so the shop that I worked in was a franchise. I know a lot of Pandoras now are Pandora owned. Enzo, please stop doing that. A lot of the bracelets, sorry, he's making me lose my train of thought. Lie down, down. They're Pandora owned, but at the time there was a lot of Pandora franchises, and I think what Pandora did, they were very, very clever. They franchised their business out, and then when the franchises were doing well, then they bought them back and they become Pandora owned. So they were very, very clever with what they did. So yeah, obviously the one I worked at was a franchise. And we used to have, we didn't used to get commission, but we used to be on like a kind of a scheme rolling on the month to month, where obviously the more you sold, or the more ATV was actual transitional value, UPT was units per transaction or something like that. People who were probably still in this business know that. I used to work in Body Shop and they used to work on the same principle. But anyway, we used to have it was more like a competition in the staff, and obviously if you got good points at the end of your month, then the owner used to give you certain amounts of money, but it was off Pandora jewelry. It wasn't money in your wage slip. It was kind of to promote you to wear the Pandora jewelry, which obviously was no hardship because we all wanted to wear Pandora jewelry. And I did have a lot of Pandora stuff because I loved it, and I did love my job, and I do feel like I was okay at it. So yeah, I think I did quite well. One of the things that I actually strive to get, I'm going to show you this because this was like my prize. This was one of the prize things that I really wanted to get while I was there. And it was this ring. Can you see? It's a huge pearl and it's got the 3 little diamonds in, and it's the silver and the gold. And the very first time I laid eyes on this ring, I wanted this ring. So this is something I've never been able to let go of, because I know, do you like it? Do you like it? It's not for you, but it is beautiful. It's very big, as you can see. But I love it. I'll never part with this ring. So yeah, I had a Pandora watch. If many of you remember, Pandora used to do watches. They were great. They were just so good. You used to have different straps, different is it a bezel, the thing that used to go around the face. You could swap and change them up, as with all the different things with Pandora. I had a watch, I did sell that, which I regret bitterly now. And I did have lots of other things that I'd sold, purely because I just didn't think I'd wear them. But I do sorely regret selling a lot of the stuff that I sold. But like I say, my bracelet and my ring I will keep hold of. These are Pandora bangles, which I wear all the time. Yeah, I can't get them off, actually. I can probably get one of them off. So if ever we go through airport security, it's a nightmare. I just have to tell them I can't get them off. What else have I got? Oh yeah, I've got my other Pandora bangle. And also my link chain one, which I got this one when I didn't even work there because I absolutely loved this bracelet. So when I worked my time at Pandora, as I say, I think it was in its heyday, and it was when anything with a diamond in it was diamond. Like now it's cubics or these lab diamonds. I don't know if they do the lab diamonds in the small charms. I don't think they probably do them in the charms, but it's obviously they do the lab diamond rings, don't they, in their pendants, which I'm not keen on. But we used to have, and it was the time when we did the actual 9 karat gold bracelets, alongside the silver bracelets. And you know, someone came in and asked for a gold bracelet, your heart would flutter. You'd be like, oh my God, they're buying the gold. And the charms then, back then, I feel like the charms were just so beautiful, so intricate. As I say, the gold was gold. The diamonds were actual diamonds. There was also a lot of precious stones in there as well. So when you got the gold tray out, it was just, you used to feel really proud getting this gold tray out because they were so lovely. And like I say, if any of you are Pandora people from back in the day, then you will know that the prices of the gold compared to the silver was just, it was massive. Like, and the most expensive charm we had in the store was the gold crown. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was literally a crown and it had diamonds on it. And I think at the time it was about £550. So yeah, it was a really expensive charm, but it was so lovely. So yeah, and the stories that I used to get told and the people I used to meet was just, I can't even, there's so many going through my head, and I've been trying to think of all the people, and they get lost because they all blur into one, but there's just so many lovely stories. Like one Sunday morning, we opened at 10, might have been 11 actually. I think we opened at 11 on a Sunday, and I think the first people through the door was these 3 elderly ladies, and they were on a coach trip. I think they were on a coach trip. I don't know if it was Wales, or I think it was Wales. And my nan used to do this. She used to be part of a club, and they used to go and do coach trips to different places, and they'd stay the day and they'd wander around and do what they were doing, shopping and eating and just watching people and visiting different sites wherever they went, and then they would get the coach home the same day. So these 3 ladies were on this particular trip, and they were so lovely. They were all best friends, and they were so excited to be where they visited. And they all bought the identical bracelet. They bought an identical bracelet. They got the same traditional Pandora bracelet. I think they got the two clips, and I think they got 2 charms to sit in the middle of the clips. But they've got the identical bracelet, like 3 of them, and it was just, they were absolutely thrilled to bits with their bracelets. And I feel like this was like top of their list to do. They were going to go, they were going to get the bracelets, and I can just picture them sitting on their little coach home, showing all their friends what they got with their bracelet. And I really hope they added to it, because it was just so lovely to watch them go out the store with their little Pandora bags. So yeah. And then Christmas time was amazing. Like, if you've ever walked past a Pandora shop now at Christmas, I don't think it's as bad as it used to be, but back in the day, like I say, we used to have, we used to have the barriers for the queues, used to be at the door, and you did not stop talking all day long. From the minute you got to work, you literally were talking all day long to different people about different things, about what they wanted. And I always remember one Christmas, this man came in with, I think he had a 2-year-old in the pram, or a 2 or 3-year-old in the pram. We had to go to the very end of the counter because it was so busy, and he had the pram. And his wife had just had a new baby, and he wanted a bracelet that kind of celebrated his 2 daughters on this bracelet. I was literally with him. It must have been easy an hour and a half, he picked obviously he got the bracelet, he picked the clips, and then he wanted charms that just literally represented his two daughters, to do with their names, to do with their birthstones, the two little girl charms he put on there, things to do with his wife, and he filled the bracelet, and it was so lovely. And I was just trying to imagine her face when she opened it on Christmas morning. She must have been like over the moon with it. It was just, yeah, it was so lovely. And then obviously you get your sad stories. Yeah, I met a lot of lovely people who when I used to go to bed at night, they used to stay in my head. Yeah, they used to stay in my head. And I remember one lady, she just came in. She came in and she started to tell me that she'd been diagnosed with cancer, and she bought the breast cancer charm that Pandora used to do every year. So she bought the charm, and then the following year she came in, and I remembered her straight away. And she said to me, she said, "Do you like my new wig?" And she'd obviously lost her hair throughout her treatment, but she was I think she was over the worst, and she was getting another charm, and she was just thrilled with this new wig. So that was so lovely to see that she'd obviously had a very, very hard year, and she'd come in to see us again. And yeah, it was lovely. Another lady came in and she'd stopped smoking, and she had this app on her phone. So her incentive for her to stop smoking, I don't know what the app was. Like I say, it was a long time ago now, but she used to punch in her phone every day, like how much money she'd saved through not smoking, through not buying cigarettes. And her treat, so instead of smoking, she decided that all the money she'd saved on cigarettes, she was going to treat herself. She'd always wanted a Pandora bracelet and couldn't afford it. So every time she hit a certain mark, sorry, I've just kicked my phone, kicked the table. She initially bought her bracelet to start her off with, and then every time she'd saved enough money that she'd not spent on smoking, she bought her charm for a bracelet. So she was gradually building her bracelet up, and obviously she was getting all the cigarettes away from her, which was amazing. But I would love to think that she stopped and didn't carry on after that, because looking at a bracelet must have made her feel very proud, and hopefully that gave her an incentive to carry on not smoking. But yeah, we had lovely stories. We had some of the girls I worked with were just amazing, some of them. But yeah, I remember this one particular day, Valentine's was coming up, and we had a bit of a lull. Obviously, the very, very busy parts at Pandora were your money days, really. Mother's Day, Valentine's, Christmas. They were the big days. They were the big occasions. Not just days either, weeks leading up to it. But I don't know why, we had a bit of a lull. And we were cleaning and tidying and straightening and polishing. And then we decided that me and this particular girl I work with, I will say her name because she won't mind, Rosa. She probably won't even watch this now, but she probably doesn't even know I'm doing this. But anyway, we decided to make this necklace with all the heart charms that we could possibly, anything to do with Valentine's, we decided we were going to put on this necklace to try and showcase what charms are available for Valentine. And this was before, I think this was before we were a full Pandora, because Pandora used to have they used to have franchises that were part Pandora. So I think you could either be a bronze or a silver franchise, which meant you could sell other things alongside it. But then once you became a gold, you were full Pandora, and that's all you could sell. And then I think obviously the guidelines of the franchise became a lot stricter. You had to literally follow everything to the T. So I feel like we must have been a full one at that point, because I really don't think we would have been allowed to do this. But basically we got one of the chains, which is obviously like it's the traditional bracelet, but it's the chain. The longer length, I think we used 52 centimetres. Was it 52 centimetres? 52 inch? I can't even remember now. Like, my brain's addled. And we filled it with every single charm to do with hearts, red, pink, love, whatever. We filled this necklace, right? And it weighed an absolute ton. And we put it on one of the busts, and we put it right in one of the display cabinets when people walked in, and we were so thrilled. We were so thrilled with what we'd done. It was amazing. But then I also remember one of our managers came in and just looked at it as if to say, what is that? Because obviously no one would wear that. No one would possibly wear that around the neck. But she was like, right, okay, girls, you need to take that out of the display cabinet now. But we laughed. We laughed so much about that. Do you want to just lie down, please? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Am I boring you? I'm probably boring a lot of people, actually, but I just thought I'd come on and chat about it because it truly was the best job I've ever had, ever. I loved the busyness of it. I loved the gift wrapping. We used to have gift wrapping competitions. So if you've ever been in, you've seen them gift wrapping. And also, if we used to get new members of staff, we used to have to teach them how to do it. But yeah, gift wrapping, you used to be able to do it in your sleep. I loved the interaction of all the girls with the staff, with the customers, and the repeat customers. You would get customers who would come in who would only want you, or they'd only want somebody else because they'd done the rest of your bracelet, and so you got that continuity of seeing the same people, which was lovely, really lovely. And lovely things as well, where people would come in with their bracelet and they'd obviously pick what they wanted, and you put their bracelet on your little tray that you used to put everything on. And if you could look and see their bracelet didn't look quite balanced, or certain things weren't right, and you'd say, can I just sort your bracelet out for you? And they'd be like, yeah, go for it. So you'd take it all off and you put it back how you thought it looked better. And they used to be thrilled that you'd done it. And because it used to look so much better, you distributed it more evenly, and they used to be thrilled that you'd done it. So that was lovely. And we always used to joke that, in later life, we would get arthritis through all the charm twiddling, which I feel like I have in these two fingers. I feel like, and I swear it's from twiddling charms all day long. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Lovely, lovely job. So to anybody who works in jewellers, you are truly blessed to work in a jeweller's, because it's lovely. It's lovely. I'm not sure how Pandora are doing these days. I see some of the adverts, and I walk past some shops sometimes and just have a little nosy just to see what's going on in the window. But I don't think it's what it was. I think it's I wouldn't say on its what's the word? Not incline, downcline, whatever the word is. Obviously, there's still a lot of people who buy it, but I feel like they missed out on when it was really, really good. And I had the great pleasure of working there when it was really, really good. So yeah, that's my little Pandora story, really. I probably think of a million other things that I've not told you about it. So many funny stories, about Pandora, lots of things that I could. One of the other things, but do you ever remember they used to, on the door, we used to have the door handle that used to come through into the store. It was the Pandora crown. So if you've got any Pandora stuff and you've got the bag or you've got the box, you'll know that it's like the oval, and then it's got the crown at the top. So our door handle used to be the crown. It was literally about that big, and it was this shiny, not silver, but obviously silver metal. And I never understand to this day why they had it. It did used to look amazing, but the finger marks on this handle used to just drive me mad. But it did come in handy, because when I started to go through menopause, obviously the hot flashes used to just well over me. And my excuse was not only the handle, but I used to say to my manager, look, if I feel a hot flush coming on, I'm just going to grab the duster and go outside, because that's what we used to have to do. We used to polish the handle, and we used to have to go and polish the window, because you'd be amazed how many people are looking in a window where there's jewellery and they point, but their fingers would touch the window. So after a while, there'd just be all these dots of finger marks on the window. So we were always going out to clean it. So yeah, that used to be my excuse when the hot flush came over me. I'd just get my cloth and I'll be out cleaning, dusting, but really just waiting for the hot flush to pass, which is amazing, really. And then another time I'd not long been working there, and this was when we just had the refit to a full Pandora. So it was the day we were kind of opening properly. All the people had gone, the builders, whatever, the shop fitters, they'd all gone. And we were doing we were opening later because we'd just got a whole new till system in. And the shutter was just half down, because obviously we'd all come into work, but we'd not put the shutter all the way down. The shutter was halfway down until we opened, and then when we were going to take it right the way up. So everyone was super busy cleaning, getting everything out, sorting the till out. It was a hive of activity, and I was sweeping. So I was sweeping the floor, and totally, I don't even know where my brain was, because you're there and it's a normal day and you're sweeping. I forgot the shutter was halfway down, and I walked into the shutter. Literally, I catapulted off. I banged it that hard. It made such a noise, and everybody came out the back, and people who were doing the tills were like, "Oh my God, are you okay, Joe? Oh my God," and sat me down. I was literally seeing stars. Got sent home. She, the girl, my manager, she said, "No, you need to go home. You can't work. You've had a massive bang there." So I went home. I think it was about like 12:30, and I think by 1:30, my one eye was literally burgundy, the colour of my pants. It literally came up straight away, swollen, and I was like, I've never had a black eye in my life. And I went to bed, and then the next morning I woke up and the other eye had come out in sympathy. So, because I'd literally banged the bridge of my nose. It was awful. And I remember ringing the owner up, because obviously I'd not worked there long. And I rang her and I said, "Look, I'm totally fine in myself." I said, "But I have got 2 black eyes. Do you still want me to come into work?" And I think it was 3 weeks before Christmas. She said, "Yeah, we need you behind the counter." So I was like, "Right, okay, I'll come in." So I was fine to be there, but you would be amazed at how many people I caught. So you'd have a queue of people and I'd be serving somebody. The amount of times I told everybody throughout the day, "Oh, I walked into the shop," because people were looking at me. But I'd look up from wrapping or whatever, and people were just like that looking at me, like, "Oh, what's happened to her?" Like, with this knowing, funny little look on their faces. And I literally had to say it. I don't even know how many times I said it throughout that day. I banged in my hand the shutter, but I don't know. I think when you see a woman with a black eye, people's brains just jump to the wrong conclusion. So yeah, that was quite funny. Not funny at the time, but that was another little thing that I always think about. And then there was another time, it was near the end of the day, and my manager and one of the girls was serving somebody, last customer of the day. And so because they were busy serving, I was kind of doing all the last minute end of day things. I was washing the coffee cups upstairs. I was tidying the back room. I was cleaning glass worktops, all the things that we had to do before we left. And then I walked behind the counter. They were at the one end of the counter, and I walked behind the counter to get the bin to go and empty it for the next day. And as I walked, it still makes me laugh now to this day. As I walked to get the bin, I don't even know what happened, and I only had flat shoes on. My foot slipped, and I think I did actually fall. I slipped, and your foot just goes, and I let out this whoop like that. And I just remember these 3 faces just turning and looking at me, and I was just on the floor, had to get up. No one asked me if I was okay. And the girl who I used to work with, I don't know how, we just made eye contact, and I went in the back. I had to go upstairs because I was laughing so much. I don't know how she carried on serving the customer, but obviously because she was with her manager, she had to keep it together. But we did look on the CCTV after, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. So yeah, that was another funny story. Yeah, I could go on, and I'll probably switch this video off and think there's more as well. But yeah, good times, great times. If ever you have a good job, cherish it, because they don't come along very often. So yeah, anyway, I've probably bored the socks off you, but if you like this video, please give me the thumbs up. Make a comment. Tell me if you ever had any good jobs. Tell me if you still work, if you worked at Pandora, or if you're still working at Pandora. I'd love to hear. I really would love to hear. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to take this one out. As you can see, he's making himself comfortable, but he's ready to go for W8LK in a minute. So I will leave you. Have a lovely day or evening, whatever time you're watching this, and I will catch you all soon. Bye, bye, bye.